This is day 561 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Like to sponsor upcoming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. Be greatly appreciated. Soothing 7 Shin Lamed Gimel Sif Beis, 7 Shin Lamed Dalet Sif Gimel. Okay, we're talking about empty your warehouse for Shabbos. And we call it the Rambam. Now we're talking about explain the Rambam. The Divrei Magid Mishkas Mishta Kenu. This is what the Rambam means, according to those Mefarshim. The only Kaplan of Rabbi Shimon the Leisei Muktzah. The only Rabbi Shimon, there's no Muktzah. The fact you put in warehouse does not mean you separate yourself from them. That you no longer have to ask them. That's why it says that even though the Rambam says even though you're allowed to take supplies from it, to eat and to drink, because there's no prohibition. Unless to completely empty it, it's also mishum tircha, because of the toil involved. El bar mitzvah can only do it for purpose of mitzvah. Feel bar mitzvah. A person should not. Each person should not move more than 4 or 5 baskets until they complete the removal that they have to remove. So regardless, they shouldn't sweep the floor of the warehouse in order not to even out the depressions in the floor. Of course, it's talking about a not paved floor which is made out of dirt or sand. Which should be in Lachad because of construction. So you can walk in and out and make a path with your legs. It's not going what it said previously. It's not going to Bar Mitzvah, it's going with Davar Rishus. The Davar Rishus, Lo Shel Livnos Klar. For optional purpose, you can't remove stuff out at all. If you need to go in there for Davar Rishus, you can go in both the Shvil Baraglov and make a pathway with your feet. It says the brackets of Tzorch Iyun. It seems difficult because it seems like it's all one thing about making a path and there's a distinguish between mitzvah and rishus. Kimbov Lanios Daiti Kamanachas Brahma. So we shall give it to Shan Brahma. After that which make a path with your legs, that's trample things down, that's an optional activity. The Rambam explains according to Yushami, which asks, what are you allowed to remove stuff from the warehouse in this manner? Let's learn out from here. Everybody agrees that you should not touch the warehouse. Make a pathway and go and come in and go out. What's the question here? The Mishnah says you're allowed to remove stuff from the otzer. What do you mean? Furthermore, what do you mean? You can't. Everybody agrees you can't touch the otzer. Which is funny. How are you not allowed to touch it if you're going to remove it? This means the Mishnah time and find out says you can remove 4 or 5 baskets. But not the warehouse. Meaning you shouldn't complete removing the otzer because of smoothing the floor. So the otzer. So the warehouse is the name here for the floor of the warehouse. That's can you move it from the warehouse in this manner? Perhaps that which you learn that you can't move the otzer. Perhaps one person should not go down to the floor of the warehouse. But if each person moves the area of 4 or 5 baskets, perhaps that's mutter. Also is completely forbidden. So therefore it means in the Brisa that everybody agrees that it's you shouldn't touch the otzer, meaning the floor of the otzer. And they can't obviously use peanut foods. That's because even they remove the grain. So Since you can't go down to the floor level, it's hard to walk there. So now, for that, in order to get in and out, you got close to the ground, but not the ground itself. So the rest of it, you make a pathway with your legs. Zelgan coming to Rambam. That's also Rambam said. Ain't to see a shot shalano. On my rezeb, it's not talking about the floor, so about the altar itself. He says in the brackets, "V'akorban eight of him nosha torchu beperim shel Yerushalmi." I Yerushalmi had difficulty with Yerushalmi. Dal tuva shulhana kosu chetzem b'fanei. How do you move it? It's a large warehouse. If you got 5 basketfuls. If it's a small one, it only has 5 basketfuls altogether. You can take 4. If you mount the entire thing, because you might come to even out the pressures in the ground. It says even if there are only 3 or 4 kupos there, you still have to leave 1 kupa. But Allah says that the Shulchan Aruch says that if it's a paved floor, like we said before, we're not concerned with this. He says Mishnah Berurah seems to think it's machlekes later on, which I guess we'll get to. But as it may, back to the Arukh HaShulchan, the Yesh Okimta. There is a specific framework there, but Gemara Sham, Ram Paskin Okimta Acheres, and Ram Paskin like a different Okimta. That's because they're going to bring this down. The Kamashir Kupa. What is the measure of the kupa, the basket we're talking about? Is the Bishami Shal Sholer Sein Ayin Shal. So Kol Kupa Machzeka Shal Sein. Each kupa holds 3 sa'os. Because the Avagad Varashus Asa Skil Sosim Shum Tircha, even though from abstract activity you're not allowed to begin removing the stuff in the altar because it is a tircha, it's too much toil. If you started removing stuff from before Shabbos began, you can continue on Shabbos even for an optional activity. Yesh Mishchol would say that those who argue about this, the Bishlam, they say, if I understand in the prohibition was because of Muktzeh, then there's the obvious difference between where you start from beforehand, where we say we don't say that it's Michalis Katzoi, because clearly you show that you were going to actually use it on Shabbos. Then when you didn't start, when obviously we could say that you were Mesiach Das from it. But what if the issue is tircha? What is the issue which we're discussing here? In other words, what's the point? If you begin from before Shabbos begins, there's no problem with tircha, there's no problem with toil. Of course, toil is independent of when you start the activity. Regardless, you shouldn't toil on Shabbos. So therefore, he says that to him it seems like the first opinion is that the dimmer it's issue of muktzah, not an issue of tircha. Mishabur argue. Mishabur says you're allowed to take specifically less than 4 or 5 kupos, but not 5 kupos. I'm not sure what is going on, but anyway, adat tircha b'Shabbos again is tircha forbidden to do on Shabbos. V'im yisashul and kavedim like a tircha. They carry a heavy table. Is there no tircha in that? Right? There's also tircha, and you're not allowed to do it. So it must be like this. We don't hold muktzah in this case. We don't hold like Rabbi Shimon. Nevertheless, muvdo who mizet. Interesting. Not muktzah, but muvdo. Concept. Muktzah set aside when you reject it. Muvdo means you're separated from it. Interesting. Comes up with. I never saw this before. Muvdo. Something which is muvdo, which is separate. You can't start when you shouldn't start as a tircha. You start before Shabbos began, and it's the dover muvdo. Again, new chiddush, major chiddush. Arukh HaShulchan is between muvdo and muktzah. I'll call it tircha shabbos, and it's like any other toil in the house which is permitted. Hey, because Ramah, the kosh mushitim shum tzarich mitzvah tiu gam tzarich orchim. Any the rabbanon where they relax the prohibition, because tzarich mitzvah is also for the purpose of having guests. The Mishnah Berurah says in the name Prima Goyim should know that not every rabbinic prohibition did they with the main purpose of mitzvah, only something which is usher because of uvdin l'chol. So it's not a real we're not really a matir real shvus, not a real rabbanon. We're only matir things where it would be an issue of uvdin dechol. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. V'lomikar orchim shenischaru etzlo b'beisa or shezimin orchim shenischaru etzlo cherim. Orchim is only when, it's interesting for it's not for achnos orchim. You invite your friend who lives in town and could eat in his own house. You invite him for meal on Shabbos. That's not called achnos orchim. That's very nice. It's not achnos orchim. Achnos orchim is somebody who is a guest in town. He's a guest at your house, or shezimin orchim shenischaru lechem, or he's a guest at somebody else's house, and you invite him over for a meal. If you invite your normal friend to eat by you, they're not called guests. It's only not mitzvah, it's mitzvah, optional, and but if you invited your friend in the honor of the orech, which you have, mitzvah, that's called the mitzvah. I'm not sure why exactly you need the friends. The orech himself is the mitzvah. All right, I'm not sure. Interesting. There's no mitzvah being orech. There's mitzvah being a machnis orech, not mitzvah being orech. But Slami creates this sudas the shus. For them, it's called optional activity. Shazim chaverim nesh chaver tamid chacham. Nearly the mikri sudas mitzvah. If this guy wants to be nana from a tamid chacham being present at his meal, that can be considered sudas mitzvah. When you remove these baskets, 4 or 5, you can move any place you want. The gagos to the roofs, lalios, upper floors, lalos, busulamos, and go up ladders, aleim, to go up ladders, these places, put them there. Be careful when you move them. You shouldn't find up the small baskets to take many trips in order to make it easier to go. Because the flip side is that you're going more times. Which is worse, because it's more vachdik, it's more public. That's per orech. If he has a lot of orchim, you take that much for each and every guest. As long as you don't do one person doesn't remove all the kupos, 4 or 5 for each guest. The ikatir say for that one person doing is a big tircha. Each guest should move on his own, or each man in the house should move on his own, or not. He shouldn't do the whole thing himself. It's an interesting dichotomy. He brings down brackets here. I test this reish perik mefani di ramas l'taimach. The mashas feel kol echon falatzmo. Each one moves for himself. Ein shem barashi v'duk. For Zayin, kos rabbein Ramah. Chavil shayin uva al agola. Wine barrels are brought on a wagon. Also, loridem b'Shabbos. You can't take them off the wagon on Shabbos. Him lo chavod orchim tzarich mitzvah unless it is for the honor of the guest or for a purpose of mitzvah. Davi k'fana motzar, moving the wine barrels in the wagon is the same as removing it from a warehouse. Meaning, as long as it's not still in the wagon, it's too much tircha, and it's similar to an oitzer. It's moved off. Which says that you should take the wine, draw the wine from the barrel when it's still on the wagon. It's not possible, and you have to drink from it, you can remove it from the wagon. Because the covered Shabbos is considered to be included in the Bar Mitzvah. So the wine, the covered Shabbos, even if you don't have guests, is in of itself a Bar Mitzvah. Okay? Back to Arukh HaShulchan, a massive barrel, which is more than 15 saw, you're not allowed to move it. Mishnah Berurah says if the non-Jew moves it on his own Shabbos, that's your problem. Why is such a massive basket a barrel of problems? Since the 3 saw per kupa, a 15 saw barrel is larger than 5 kupas. So Agola Bam Erev Shabbos. Of course, this wagon came on Erev Shabbos. Bam Shabbos came on Shabbos. From outside the Tchum Shabbos, Asur Mishabah Bishvil. It's forbidden for whoever it came for. As we wrote in Siman Shin Chaf Hey. Siman Shin Ramadal. Din Atzolim is Lake Up Bil Shabbos. How you save things from a fire on Shabbos. So we have to get more to get up to. Okay. Machava Mavir, Hema Avos Malchus. To make a fire and to extinguish a fire, they're both Avos Malchus. Both forbidden as an Malacha on Shabbos. Avayim Mamash Mishkan. When Mishkan Shivir Eish, they ignite a fire, Latzakas Mishkan to forge the vessel of Mishkan Mechabahesa, and they extinguish fire. Shkibul coming when they extinguish the coals, Lasos Gecholim, in order to make charcoal, and it's told to us as avocado, which is necessary in order to forge gold and silver. The Toledo's Mavir, derivative Mavir, because the Ramar is pretty based on Mechamim, and it's a bias of somebody heats a metal, looking at itself in order to forge it. B'mayim, in other words, you heat it up and mold it, and then you put the water to cool down. Hareza told us Mavir, that is the derivative of Mavir Chayv. The forging is putting in the water. The water, when you cool down quickly, it strengthens it. But Tolos Mechabehu, and the derivative of Mechabehu, of extinguishing, I'm sorry, that is a derivative when you put in the water of extinguishing. Shekain Loche Barzel, because people who forge metal, Mechachamim Mesa Barzel, they heat up the metal, Achia Segachelos, so it becomes like a coal. Mechachamim Samayk, they're Chasmos, just like I just said. They extinguish the water in order to strengthen it. But Zel Tzarif, shows us Sachai Mishim Mechabe. And it says that forging is prohibited because of Mechabe Ayin Shah. Prates involved because the Rambam and the Chamim Masamatechas Achitas Segachelos, also to heat up the metal until it becomes coal, and I guess red hot. Hareza Tlos Mevash is derived from cooking. Ayin Shah. Rabbi Yitzchak said the Rabbi doesn't like that derivation. But the Ram is right. The Mechamic did it so for because when you heat it up in order to forge it, you don't burn it up because that'd be useless. So therefore, L'chein Abit, every object L'chein Abit closed Mavir. In which case it would be a derivative of Mavir. So there's something wrong with the language here. But he heated it up in order to be glowing hot in order to forge it, but it's also Mavasha. That's a derivative of Mavasha, Mabisha, Shemizbasha, Misrak, and Garment. So it's just when you cook, when it gets totally soft. Rabbit 72 by the Rabbanan, the Rabbit holds that forging is the Rabbanan. Rambam will sphere the Tzir of Mitzvah, forging is also the Mina D'Oraisa. Chem Mashab Shara Sugi B'Shabbos. Seems to be that way in the simple sugi, understand the sugi. Vav Shima Omer Tzir to Rabbanan, even though the Yuma says when they used to put the hot metal from in the mikveh to heat up the Kohen Gadol. It seems like there's the Rabbanan. Kvartir to Rabbanan, the Sham, Pima Mashotzi Shazazal, Shoshi Shabaras, it's talking about the hot ball of metal, Shematil Mikveh, Kohen Gadol, Shemon to the Kohen Gadol's mikveh, Aim with Tzir Clown. It's not really Tzir because it already is what it is. V'gam Rashi, the places feel like a Rambam, Mahisham. I'm sure they didn't heat up to be red hot in that case as well. Base, class of a Rambam, Mavir Koshu Chayiv, somebody who ignites a fire, no matter how little is Chayiv. Vushit Tzorech Leifer, that's if you need the ashes. Amhivir Div Arukh HaShulchan, but you ignite a fire in order to destroy something, but you exempt Nishim Kalka because you're ruining. If you ignite the pile of grain of your friend, or you burn his abode, you're liable. Even though you are destroying, it's a finish. You're chayiv. Because here your intent is to take revenge from an enemy. Now, when you made the fire, your hot temper was cooled down. And your anger was diminished. The Nasi Korean Mason is like somebody who rips clothing in mourning on somebody who died, or in anger. Shuchayav is liable because it was purposeful. Like somebody who wounds his friend when they are fighting. So we don't condone this, but these people mistaken by their relative to the Yitzhara. Somebody who lights a candle or wood, painless chame being layer with its heat or to illuminate. How is the chayiv is liable akan l'shono. For our time, Simishin to Zayin Siv Chavav, the Zesher Chayiv Mechayiv become an Asal Likarnei, and then okay, that which he says you're liable when your intent is to take revenge. Zel Lishi Tasso, that's according to this opinion, the Mechayiv Melachshen Sil Gufa. That he says your Chayiv Ramahos, your Chayiv Melachshen Sil Gufa by Bimlacha, which you're not doing for the purpose done in Mishkan, you're Chayiv. If it's not, even though it's not done for the purpose of which done in Mishkan, which is to forge vessels and such like, you're liable. Avola post him the Melachshen Sil Gufa Patur, but when those opinions are told, that like majority posting, that Melachshen Sil Gufa is Patur, Gamzeh Patur, She'en Sil Gufa Melach. You don't need the Melach itself, you just need to take out your anger on something. When the estimate said beyond the Kam Yishem Chakulav, some Yishem argue on the Rambam, so I feel like you're Mechai Ben Tzarech L'Gufa. Even Rabbi Yehuda, who says Yechai Melachshen Sil Gufa, Ben Tzarech L'Gufa, Paiter B'Chagam exempts you this case. The Maskana Shas Ein Okain Ayin Sham. Now Sham said that's a Rambam Ayin Sham. If you want to take a look back in Simon Shin, there's this Shin Tazayin, he discusses the opinion of the Rambam. For our purposes, it doesn't matter because it's also regardless. Gimel V'Gam, in other words, Melachshen Sil Gufa is the least, and this is Rabbanim. Gimel V'Gam, Mashu Mechayim B'Tzarech L'Efer. That which Rambam says you're liable when you need the ashes. Einu Elo L'Shitaso. It's also going to depend on Mechayim B'Tzarech L'Gufa that he was obligated, who makes you liable in case you're Tzarech L'Gufa. Rabbi Shimon, because Rabbi Shimon, who holds Melachshen Sil Gufa as Patur, B'Tzarech L'Efer have a Melachshen Sil Gufa. Even when you need the ashes, that's Melachshen Sil Gufa. Because in the Mishkan, evidently, they were chaba not for the Efer, they were chaba in order to forge, or to make charcoal, not to make ashes. And then they further Rabbi Shimon chayav apen circle Efer. But on the other hand, there is put down in the Gemara an opinion, perspective. Rabbi Shimon chayav if you don't even need the ashes. Why? Because it's the opinion that Havara and Chayvel and Mavir, those two malachs are unique, the wounding and burning, that you're chayav imam mekalka. For this tefillah, potter. And in this case, even though Shimon holds you're chayav by mekalka b'chabura or mekalka mavir, Rabbi Yehuda holds your potter. It's the exact opposite. Normally, Shimon's meko, Rabbi Yehuda's machmir, here vice versa. Shimon Shinta Zayin Sivchav Zayin Sivchav Ches Sivchav Tes. But the Bezed the Rashi Be'emes Kenu the Shimon Chayav B'Chogam. Because Shimon you're liable whether you're constructive or destructive. Avotesis Chokim Bezed. So to argue this way, the Shimon Tzarech Tikun Tzatz. It's got to be for some positive outcome or Tzarech Mitzvah, or for the purpose of Mitzvah. Or Tzarech Lafaro, or we need the Efer. It's not in Mekalka Gomer B'Chabura B'Mavir. It's not going to be Chayav. Only Mekalka where there is a certain benefit at the end. I should say it's not going to be, even so, therefore, even says he's chayav, because chayav, according to Tosfos, there has to be some positive outcome which he's trying to accomplish.